Hello. Now we are going to discuss about the discussion as a tool for learning. So discussion is very often used as a tool in classrooms. When designed properly and used thoughtfully, discussion task can be an effective learning tool that can promote creativity as well as generate meaningful interaction and understanding for the learner. Well-designed discussion tasks lead to progressive knowledge and seeking inquiry or expansion learning, where learners can actively synthesize the new information with prior knowledge and experiences in the process of creating not only new knowledge but also new understanding of the learning process. So, teachers use discussion tasks to achieve different goals, critical inquiry, debate, and reflection. And however, it is not difficult to ensure that learning will natural occur natural circumstances will occur in a discussion task. So teachers that the teacher meaningfulness of the task is not found in the problem or task itself. Rather, the learner has to impose his or her own meaning and defines individual goals during the process of accomplishing the task. In other words, the purpose of learning within the context is not to get in right, but to produce something meaningful through critical inquiry, debate, and reflection. So discussion is important to learning in all disciplines because it helps the students to process information rather than simply receive it. And leading to discussion requires skills different from lecturing. The goal of a discussion is to get students to practice thinking about the course of material. So your role, the teacher's role becomes a facilitator. Teachers design and facilitate the discussion rather than convey information. So if the teacher wants to hold a discussion, don't do all the talking by the teachers by himself or herself. So give it to the students so that the students can form the discussion group, and they can use the mode of teaching. So we can also say that discussion students may not be prepared and have nothing to say. And silence is often perceived and awkward when the discussion process is going on. And we can also say that despite discussions rich and ancient lineage, some teachers may be wary of promoting discussions in the classroom. So students may not be prepared and has nothing to say while the discussion process is going on, and students may ask questions for which the teacher is unprepared or to answer to, and the discussion may become controversial because of the topic, maybe because of the topic, or you can say off topic or out of the topic. One or two students may dominate the whole conversation. So the students may think that the teacher is neglecting his or her responsibilities and the students do all the work. So students are accustomed to passive learning, may need to be rewritten within a discussion framework. So skillfully guiding discussion rather than merely stating the facts is generally a lot more difficult. So the room, especially auditorium room or styles rooms, may not be spatial discussion. The class may be too big for entire classroom discussion. So with this potential hardships in mind, why should we facilitate discussions? So, most importantly, students are likely to learn more when discussions are sprinkled through the class period because discussion facilitates active learning. One of the touchstones of contemporary pedagogy. So, we can also say the discussion breaks up the class period and gives students a chance to do something good, something else, or something inherently good. So, discussion fosters motivation for further learning as well as and discussion help students climb the ladder, the more advanced form. In the Bloom's taxonomy, moving, for instance, from mere memorization by allowing students to who come to certain realization on their own. A discussion provides immediate feedback for the teacher and helps to correct immediately if something is not getting through. So getting discussion started, one of the hardest parts of using discussion is getting students to become engaged. One important key to promote discussion is understanding that class discussions, like any discussion, must move from known to understood to the potentially unknown and not understood. So this means that discussion may be based on commonality of experience or thought. If there is no commonality, then students will be talking past one another the entire time. So to get discussion started, refer to common human experience of going to the class, eating lunch, or going to bed. Refer to common cultural artifacts or understand. Though one must be careful here for unnecessary alienated cultural minorities. Refer to previously read assigned readings and refer to case or question presented in a class for which ample time for consideration and thought is given. If using a question to kick off the discussion, teachers should resist the urge to answer the question themselves or move on too quickly if the question is not answered right away. So, several seconds of silence are often helpful for students to probe their own minds for potential answers. It may be a good idea for teachers to expressly state that they want several seconds of silence before they hear an answer. So, when asking questions, it is important for teachers to avoid sarcasm, asking multiple questions at once, asking questions that are either too hard or too easy, or asking yes no questions. This practice can frustrate students. So, there are different techniques for discussion. So, we can say the endless variations of in class discussion techniques exist. So yet there are we can discuss about the three potential methods that work very well for small, medium, and large class size classes respectively. So the hardness table. Number one is hardness table. The number two is Socratic circles, and the number three is think, pair, share. Think, pair, share. So you can also say that about the hardness table, which only which only works in small classes in a method wherein the teacher and the students sit around a table and discuss an idea or concept in an open, non-confrontational give and take with minimal teacher input. So the Socratic circles is which work well in a small and medium sized classroom are formed when one group of people situate themselves in a circle and discuss a topic. Arranged around them in the second group, which sits silently and takes notes on the inner cycle discussion. After a predetermined period of time, the outside circle then provides input and critique on the discussion. The two groups of the people then switch circles and reverse no roles. So, now the last one is think, pair, share, which works well in large, medium, and small size classes. Start with the teacher asking a question or posing a problem, and asking for students to either pair up or get up in small groups to discuss the prompt. After a predetermined period of time, not too long, else the students get bored and starting off topic. So the teacher then asks the volunteers or calls on particular students to represent the group and state the conclusions they drew. So you can also say the getting to know students' name. So when you are going to discuss anything, it will be easier for the teacher to know the student's name, whether about the background and proclivities to indivisible, discourage students or encourage students from hiding behind anonymity. Thus, from Thus, encourage students to participate in the discussion method and discourage students from hiding behind anonymity, thus promoting engagement. So, the teacher should create an atmosphere where the students feel inclusive, and the students can discuss the things freely, and the students can understand the whole situation clearly. So, when we are having any discussion peer to peer discussion or students to teacher discussion, the classroom atmosphere should be in a positive vibes, so the students feel encouraged to create a discussion with the teacher. The teacher should not be too strict on a discussion topic. The teacher should ask the students some questions, or whether they can they can discuss anything more. So if yeah, something there's some problems in discussion method is when we're going to discuss in a certain situation, so that the students the students may not actively engage in all the situations. So the teacher should the teacher should encourage the students to encourage the students to participate in the discussion form. So creating easy to discuss, easy to answer discussions early in the semester, divided was quality discussions later on the semester. So you can say that that first of all you have to discuss which is easier to understand for the students, which is easier to then, adapt for the students. So it will be easier for the students to know how to form this discussion, or how to and they will know some things from a known to some unknown way, or they will learn something different in a different way. So discussions are teacher friend only to extend that the role is a toolbox. So the teacher should use their instincts where appropriate to guide and direct discussion to optimize students learning outcome. So this is the main basics of a discussion, and the discussion as a tool of language learning. Okay, thank you.